right. So I don't know if anybody's going to cash in on this or not, if anybody's interested in talking or having the conversation, but I am interested in talking about anything Ukraine if anybody wants to talk. I understand that you didn't know that this was coming. I just had a target of opportunity, a little extra time, and I thought, yeah, let's talk. Let's see if anybody is out there interested in talking about Ukraine. It is day 300. And when I think back and I think, wow, 300 days. And I remember when this first started, it was the first day I was at an academic conference and I was talking to some of my colleagues and I was like, wow, Putin really invaded it. I didn't see that coming. And then a couple days later, you hear things like where Zelensky is out on the street and he's saying, you know, I'm here. I am not a traitor. I have not left my country. And he showed himself with his camera. He showed himself with his phone, like out on the streets. I'm here, and he didn't walk away. Or then when I need an ammunition, not a ride. When that story got out, that was a turning point for me, where I said, wait a minute, who is this guy? I need to know everything I can about this guy. And it turned out this guy was just absolutely phenomenal as a leader. If you're just joining me, if you have questions about anything related to Zelensky, anything related to the Ukraine war, I've been doing this since day 85. I've been studying. Put it in the comments. Let's talk about it. I'll try to scratch where you itch. But at any rate, so it was day like just a few days in, and I was like, wow, who is this guy? I really need to know him. Okay, Martin Linagu. I really appreciate your work here. Thank you very much. What made me do this every day? I was just about to say that. That's a great question. And you are not a plant. So I heard Zelensky say that I need ammunition, not a ride thing. And I thought, you know what? I've got to know everything I can about this guy. And it was almost our spring break. And I spent the entire spring break just researching and writing about Zelensky. That turned into an ebook. It's on Amazon by the same name. I need ammunition, not a ride. If you have Amazon, what is the free thing? You have to charge on Amazon. So it's like $3, $4, something like that. And then if you have Amazon Prime, it's free, right? I want people to read the thing. And I tracked the first like 5 months of the war, like day over day, everything. And then at a certain point, I went, why don't I, while I'm doing this, why don't I put this? And so about day 85, I actually was putting YouTube videos on as well. And I thought, like I'm trying to get to a wider audience because you can't find news about Ukraine in major outlets, really, not much. In newspapers, yes. On TV, not really. And so it's really people that are interested or care about Ukraine have gone to YouTube. And that's what I did. And it's really fascinating because all the people that I know that are like really the people that I really turn to for information about this kind of thing, they are YouTubers who are doing something else who switch gears. Like I had a podcast about leadership because I'm a management professor and I talk about leadership all the time. Dennis Davdov was a pilot who had like a travel thing. I just talked about Orist on my channel the other day. I had an interview with him, and he was doing the same kind of thing. And so we all kind of switched gears. Jake Brogue kind of did a pivot, and you see everybody's kind of doing that. I was just watching Canadian dude; he did the same thing. And so and the reason that I did was because while my podcast talked about leadership, I couldn't stop talking about Ukraine. Like this was what's important, guys. Like this, like people are literally dying. Focus on this. This is important. So, and then I just created a whole different channel unrelated to that. So if you look up Darren Gerdes, DarinGerdes, you'll find two channels. And one's just talking about leadership. It's called the Leader Smith Podcast, and then you'll find this. Okay, something just popped up. It has to do with Ukraine. Before the latest invasion, they had a major problem with corruption, top to bottom. Do you think this will change even a little bit? Yes, I do. That's a great question. I do think it'll change. The corruption is just kind of part of the neighborhood, as part of the old Soviet system. Russia has it. Ukraine has it. I've looked at like Amnesty International and other indexes. Yes, there was corruption there, and that's been part of the culture. Now, joining the EU is going to force some of the change in the corruption, because there are laws for the courts that they just changed, for financial kinds of issues that they just changed, that will change the way they have to handle those kinds of things. So it's in the United States, we talk about like a good old boy network, and there they had a similar kind of thing. It's not doesn't work exactly the same way, but the way that the oligarchs function, they have that corruption. But yeah, okay. At any rate, if you're the rest of you, if you're here, um, you please feel free to ask me whatever questions about Ukraine, and I'll try to answer them. Just put them in the comment section below. Okay. Well, there isn't corruption nowadays. Where isn't corruption nowadays? Yeah, that's right. I mean, there's corruption everywhere, but it was particularly pronounced over in this neighborhood within the world. It's really hurting Russia. Like if you look at how, like, where's the munitions or whatever. You're welcome, by the way, Jim. Uh, it's really hurting. Like they expect to have certain munitions that they don't have, or they have clothes that they've accounted for that really aren't serviceable, or those kind of things, and that's really hurting their system. But yeah, and let's be honest. Like Ukraine didn't have it all together, but they're a democracy and they're fighting for their democratic freedom, and that's the difference. Like you can get 15 people have gotten 15 years in jail in Russia for holding up a blank sign at a protest. Like that's unfreaking believable. That's not democracy anymore. That is authoritarianism. And so what Ukraine has actually done throughout 300 days of the war is been able to hold on to their democratic values largely. They haven't done it completely. Like they've gotten some criticism for what they've done with the Orthodox Church, but again, the Orthodox Church was kind of working for the KGB, not the KGB, the inheritor of the KGB, and working through the Russian security system. So I have a hard time with that. I did, say Zelensky, you shouldn't have camped out these political parties. These parties are so irrelevant now. 2% of the population now supports Russia, so don't worry about those. But I get it. I understand. I'm in the high seats. I'm not right on the ground like Zelensky. Man, that guy's got guts. Going the Bakhmut today, like that's amazing. Okay, another comment popped up. Good evening from Lithuania. Labas, Lithuania. I've been there 3 times. You people are awesome. Uh, good evening from Lithuania. What do you think today about Zelensky's visit to Bakhmut? I was just talking about it. He's awesome. In today's video, which I just shot but I haven't put up yet. I was contrasting Putin, who is over in Minsk, Belarus. I've also been to Minsk. It's a little creepy, Minsk. Like all the we knew we were being watched the whole time that we were there, and it was just a little odd. But yeah, he's flying in, and Anna from Ukraine was talking about this in her video that he flew in with three planes so that they wouldn't know which plane he was on, like that kind of security. But you're going from Moscow to Minsk. Like, how much more security can you have? Now, contrast that with Zelensky, who showed up in the hottest spot of the war, like he's obviously not going to put himself right in front of bullets, but he's there in Bakhmut handing out awards to his soldiers to encourage them. I mean, just amazing. Anyway, I love Lithuania. Lithuania's got heart, and pound for pound, the and I miss some zeppelini. I mean, I I don't know why I really enjoy that particular dish. Uh, um, I stood in the spot in Vilnius where George W. Bush spoke about like them joining NATO, and like we're behind you. And I wish I had a picture of the spot. There's a plaque on the ground in the square. And yeah, and pound for pound, the Baltic states, Lithuania, Estonia, Latvia, and add Poland have been the greatest supporters of Ukraine. It's unbelievable. Okay, Martin Linegal, will Russia invade Moldova tomorrow? Martin, I hate to tell you, my crystal ball doesn't work very well. It's very cloudy. I don't think, though, that Russia is going to invade Moldova. Part of the problem with that is that it would be very, very difficult for them to be able to actually have the logistics to get over into Moldova, because they're not like right on the border like they are with Ukraine. So I don't think that's going to happen, but it is a threat, that little breakaway region. I think that the